everyone, Shore, and today I'm be doing the 90s Disney book tag. So I did this tag previously in the past, and I'll put link the last time I did that in the corner so you guys can check it out. This is the tag that I created 6 years ago now. It's honestly one of my favorite book tags I've ever created just because I'm a big Disney fan. I thought since I was born in the 90s, I created this tag, and I can't wait to do this again, and I'm just really excited to do this tag after 3 years since the last time I did this tag. But let's get to the book tag. So for some of the questions, I did modify a bit to make it make more sense, because when I originally did this tag, I don't know why last time I skipped one of the questions, but I'll get to that question later in this video. But the first question is, Rescuers Down Under, your favorite sequel or duology? And this is really hard because there hasn't been a lot of there was a lot of sequels that I liked, but there hasn't been a lot recently that I give 5 stars. But the one that I could think of is Undercover Bromance by Lisa K. Adams. This is a companion novel to the Bromance Book Club, which is one of my favorite book series. And you haven't read the first book. The first book's about a man who's under a crisis with his marriage because his wife wants a divorce, but he doesn't, so he goes to his teammates who formed a book club to how to have a better relationship. That's what I'm saying. And this follows a different character from the first book, but I just love this series so much, and this is definitely a favorite sequel that I've read so far. So yeah, I know I usually go for like favorite duologies, but I haven't thought of the one that I've read recently that I like, but I know this is definitely one of the favorite sequels that I've read recently. And the next question is Beauty and the Beast, a book with a beautiful cover. And this was hard because I own so many books that have beautiful covers, but the one that I can think of is a book that I got from a book box, which is a Fragile Enchantment by Alison Stafford, and it's just so beautiful. And it's one of my favorite book covers from a book box that I own so far, like this year at least, or just ever, and I just love the cover. So yeah, this was really hard, like I said, but this one just spoke out to me, and I'm like, yeah, this book has a beautiful cover. And the next question is Aladdin Pick 3 books as your 3 wishes. And I said in it previously that you could do it, interpret it in different ways. Like you could say like what the sequels that you wish that you got to, or new releases that you wish is out now versus waiting until it's published, etc. And I picked the 2024 releases that I wish is out right now because I want to read them right now. And the first most anticipated book that I definitely want to read immediately, which is Kill Her Twice by, who's the author? Oh my gosh, Stacey Lee. That's what it is. And it's and then she's one of the authors that wrote historical fiction. She wrote Look of the Titanic, which I really enjoyed, and I know I want to read this by her because it's about like Hollywood in either 1920s or 1930s, but I just love all-time Hollywood stories that just maybe curious to read it, but I'm really excited about that one. Next one I do want to read is Under the Surface by Diana Urban, which is her new book that's coming out this year. That she writes murder mystery, but young YA murder mysteries, and this one takes place in Paris, which I'm really excited about. I just really like the cover. The cover's very intriguing to me that I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to read that, by the way. And the last one is definitely another anticipated release of mine because I love the first book so far, and it's The Darkness Within Us by Tricia Levenseller, which is the sequel to The Shadow Between Us, and I love that book that much. And Tricia Levenseller is also one of my favorite authors, so I'm just really anticipating that book too. So yeah, those are the 3 books that I'm using as my 3 wishes. And the next book, or the next question is The Lion King, a book that is a retelling. And the book that I picked for this, which is the one that I've read recently and I really love, which is 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. This is a retelling of, I forgot what the actual tale is called. I know it's like a Chinese folklore about the 6 cranes, I think that's what it's called. I don't remember. I might have to look it up later, but I just really love the characters. I really love the world, and I can't wait to continue on with the series because I think it's the only duology. And I heard that her Radiant Curse is like a prequel to this, or it takes place in the same world as this, so I'm really curious about that, but this is definitely one of the retellings that I've read recently that I really enjoyed, and I just can't wait to read the sequel to it whenever I can. And the next question is, Pocahontas a historical fiction or book that features historical figures? And the book that I picked for this is Leg of the Titanic by Stacey Lee. Like I mentioned earlier in this video, I just really love this book. I really love what's interesting about this one is our main character is one of the very few Chinese passengers on the Titanic, which is very interesting to me. And I read this on audiobook, and oh my gosh, I just love the main character, and I love the sibling relationship in this. And I haven't read a lot of historical fictions that's about the Titanic and the tragedy of the Titanic, but I just really enjoy this, and I love this book, and I'm just glad that I read when I did, because I probably wouldn't have discovered Stacey Lee, and I'm starting to like her writing and the characters that she created, because she writes a lot of historical fictions that I had no clue it was a thing, but yeah, I'm still excited about her newest book that's coming out later this year, and I'm just really enjoy this book a lot. It's definitely one of the historical fictions that I do recommend. And the next question is, which I skipped the last time I did this take. I don't know what happened, but I somehow skipped it. But the next question is, a goofy movie, a book that made you laugh, or a funny book. And the book that I picked for this is Spy Family, which is a manga that I've read. I started reading last year, and I've been continuing on with the series, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so funny. I just love the characters. These characters make me laugh, and I just couldn't help myself, especially Anya. I just love Anya in this one, and I love her adopted dad. I forgot his name. I know it's Twilight, or he has another name. I don't know, but he's a spy, and it's just so funny when they're basically just try to be an ordinary family, but they also at the same time it's just they end up in a funny awkward situation that you're like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And I just love Spy Family so far, and I know I haven't tried to anime yet, but Kevin has, and he said he enjoys it. So I've seen clips of the anime that I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's so funny as the manga. So this one made me laugh a lot. So yeah, this is my answer to this question. And the next question is, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, a character that has been in the dark for so long. And the book that I picked for this was actually perfect, because I read this last year, I think, or 2 years ago, and it's Mr. Magic by Kirsten White. Yeah, that book came out last year. Just because of the premise of the book, is about a group of former child stars of a show called Mr. Magic has had a reunion to celebrate a death of their old cast members, and then they think that Mr. Magic is responsible for it, from what I remember correctly. And that book it surprised me. I wasn't expected to like it. I mean, I like Kirsten White's writing, but I'm not a big fan of horror. But I know it's like almost like a murder mystery horror kind of book, and that's kind of like outside my comfort zone a bit. And I know that like a lot of the main characters in this have been in the dark for so long, just because of what happened when they were making the show and all that. They explain that in the book, and I'm just this book just fits perfectly with this answer. So yeah, I picked Mr. Magic in this. A lot of characters in this book for this question. And the next question is, Hercules, a character that went from an underdog to a hero. And the book, this was hard because I know a lot of middle grades have like underdogs that turn to a hero, but with this one, I feel like this character that I love that fits for this, which is Lucy Harpelia from Fairy Tale. I just think she, like a lot of members of the Fairy Tale members are heroes, but I feel like she kind of went from an underdog to a hero herself, and I just love her character for that, because I know like she was like a misfit kind of character, or like a character that just wants to be one of the incredible wizards that out in her world, and I just felt like she was a very underdog to a hero kind of character from watching anime, and plus in reading the first volume of this, because even though the series progresses, her character development grows as the series goes on, because I've watched the anime, but I just can't help but think of Lucy Harpelia in this one. So I just love her character, and I actually love all the characters in this one, but yeah, I think she was an underdog that turned into a hero for this one. And the next question is Mulan, a character that sacrificed themselves for a family member or a friend, and I edited that part. This was also hard because I haven't read a lot of books where they made that sacrifice, because I know all I can think of is the Hunger Games, but then after I think about it, I'm like, the main character did sacrifice a lot for her sister, which is our main character in These Deadly Games by Diana Irvine, and I forgot the main character's name. Crystal. Yeah, her sister gets kidnapped, and her kidnapper says that he would give back her sister unless won't give back his sister unless she plays this game that he created, and it's just very twisted, and this is one of my favorites from Diana Irvine, and I'm just think that our main character did sacrifice a lot for her sister, because I love a good sibling relationship, and this one has showed a lot from Crystal, and I'm just a bit rooting for her, and even though she may have sacrificed by doing the things that she doesn't agree with doing, but she has to in order to save her sister. So yeah, that's the character I'm thinking of for who made a big sacrifice for her sibling. And the last question is Tarzan a book that brought you to your wild side, or a book that is wild to you? And this one was very hard because I haven't read a lot of books that have been like made me feel wild, if you know what I mean. But I feel like with this book, I feel like wild things happen to this character that I'm just like feel bad for this character. I'm like, always put in a situation that she didn't want to be in, which is Chrissy from Death by Coffee, or Bookstore Cafe Mystery Series, and I feel bad for her because of, like, in the first book, which is Death by Coffee, she tries to open a coffee shop that's named after her father's book, because her father is a famous author, and then one of her customers ends up dead after ordering some coffee, so she's always the main victim according to the police, and it's just wild to me because I'm like, you seriously blame the new person in town for the murder and the owner of her business? That's just, again, it's wild to me. I'm like, why are you pointing out to her? So I'm just, it's like makes me feel bad for her, but also at the same time, she, like, no matter how much she thinks her situation is wild, but she tries to point at herself that she's innocent and she's not guilty of the murder. So yeah, I just really love this series so far. I just recently read Death by Tea, and it's just like each book of this series is just wild to me. So yeah, that's the answer to my question. Like, yes, a lot of murder mysteries are wild to some people, especially what happens to the characters, but with this one, I just felt bad for the main characters because she was to blame, which is in the synopsis of the first book. So yeah, it's just wild to me, in my opinion. So that's all for the 90s Disney book tag. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and comment down below what books that you think has a beautiful cover, because I would like to know. And if you haven't already, click the subscribe button and click the bell icon so you can notified when I post new videos. Also, you can follow me on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads, which all links will be down below for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!